Hello folks. Well, look at this little beauty what I bought for Paula and myself yesterday. And what we're going to do with this, I'm actually going to paint it. I've got myself a little bit of water here. It's not my normal setup. One thing what I need, and I've got it here, makes life a lot easier, a little palette that'll go on my knee. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to start off with I'm going to give it all a coating of this raw sienna, and that's going to be the whole lot. Dip that in some water. Now I've got my paint just there. I'm not using a very big brush. I've got my iPad in front here so I can see what the colours are going to be like, but at this stage it doesn't matter. All I want to do is to actually paint it. Now what I suggest is, if you're going to do this yourself, that you give it a coating of UV glue, UVA glue, to seal it first. Otherwise you may have to give it a couple of coats. We'll see. I'll be able to tell you better whether this works this way. See, that's what I'm doing at the minute. This is, just think of this as like a base coat. It's coming on nicely, folks. Now when you're doing something like this, it's probably best to do like the top part first, which allows it to dry. Then once it's dry, it means that you still can move it around without getting your hands too mucky. And then by the time this is all dried, you can then use your fingers on that and then just do the legs and the head. Now you don't have to paint these, but I think they look a lot better when they are painted. I used to do a lot of tortoises as Paula says, and I didn't need to look at anything for the colouring in that because I had it off by heart. But you know, that's been quite a while ago. I'm a bit rusty. I could remember what colours I used, mind you. In case you're wondering, it's either this raw sienna or a golden ochre, and then you need a RawUmber and a burnt umber and some white. Keep making sure that the screen doesn't go off on the iPad. Now there is one or two I can see with colouring it, I can actually pick up on like a run with the concrete, you know, where they've not done it quite properly. But that doesn't matter, because we can we could do something creative with it with the brush, the paint. Right, so we're going to need to let that dry, but what I'm going to do is do the front legs. I'm going to do the bit what I can see without moving it. But one other thing which I forgot to mention, if you put it on a piece of paper like this, then you can actually move it around to some extent. So it always pays to think ahead. Little tips can make all the difference. And obviously when you're doing something like this, you don't have to do two realistic colours if you don't want to. You could do it what colour you like, you know. After all, art's meant to be all down to being creative, so, you know, it's entirely up to you. I shall go over the underneath and give that a coating as well, just to help out. This is concrete, so there shouldn't be any problems at all with to be honest with you, you don't really need to do the underneath, but it's sometimes nice just to do the job, to finish it off properly. Now, if the weather is on the cool side, say in the UK in the winter months, or the, you know, when it's really cold, the acrylic paint's not going to dry so quickly, and so you could actually, when this is still drying, add some of the next colours to it, and it will blend. I don't think we're going to be able to do that because it's too warm. Kind of reminds me a bit of being in Australia painting in acrylics. So that's all had a nice coating now. I'm just going to put my brush in there in the water just to I know it's only a little thing, but it just keeps it moist and stops the paint from drying up on the bristles. So what I need now is really, I need some white, and this is where I'm not sure whether I didn't get the white out of one of my art boxes. Alright, we've got some, not my preferred, it's only a cheapo make, but we're not doing anything too important at the moment, so we'll get going to get a bit of white. There's only that much, and then I'm going to add a bit of the raw sienna. Going to mix that up on the palette here. Now this is where I've made a little bit of a mistake. It should have been RawUmber and white, not raw sienna. Never mind, we can still utilise it, because what I'm doing, if you look at a tortoise's shell, it's kind of a mixture of different tonal browns, right through from a very light to a dark, and rather than waste this, we're just putting a colour around like that, hoping you'll be able to see. Yeah, you should be able to see now. You see what I've done there? And then we can do the same with some of the top parts. Right, so I've still got a bit left, but what I'm going to do is get some RawUmber now. Only a little bit, because I need to add some white to it. Doesn't matter about washing this out, because it's not gonna matter with this colour. Can you see that was the colour I was intending to get? That colour. Sorry. Oh. Right. Okay, so I'm going to start off by doing it this way round so I don't get confused, and I'm going to just put some colour in like that. Oh, I do like. It's lovely to do a bit of painting again. Now, I'm not used to filming myself painting, folks, so I've got a new setup which I'm just having to play around with at the minute, so it needs to be tweaked, so I'm not expecting anything fantastic. Hopefully you can see how it's building up. It's all about layering really, and just getting building up the layers. That's what gives it more of a 3D effect. So I'm not trying to solidly cover over certain parts, because it's not necessary. Okay, now we need to so it's coming on, folks. Coming on nicely. Now we'll add a touch of RawUmber on its own. Now at some point you do have to let it completely dry so you can get some really dark browns onto it without it blending. Oh, I love doing this, folks, I really do. I just haven't got the room. You know, it's amazing, especially when you're like me and you like to dabble in all sorts of different mediums. You need plenty of room. Can you see how it's coming on, folks? The thing about artists is that everyone has different ways of doing things. There's no, it really comes down to what you find best for you. What's good for one artist is not good for another. You may think, oh, what a stupid way to do this. I don't care, because I enjoy doing it this way. I mean, I do like to experiment, doing things different ways. But right, so that is coming on nicely. Now, what I need to do, I'm going to add it, bring a little bit of water into this, just got a bit of colour left in here, and what I'm going to do, start back round this way, because then that's going to I lost me picture, folks. That's not the one. Oh well, this is where I have to wing it because the picture's vanished. Okay. Lesson there, make sure you save the image you're working from and then delete it afterwards, because you can only use things as reference off the internet. Right, so I really need to go back . Just looking for that image what I just had. Typical, it's not there now, folks. Never mind. Right, so what we got? We need I think we're going to let that dry a little bit now before I add some more mixtures of lights and darks into it of different shades. It's coming on. Sorry, brush is in the wrong spot for you, but that'll have to do. I'll put it. This is only a cheapo brush, by the way, so if it hardens the bristles, doesn't really matter because I can just blow it out. Right, so I'm going to put you on pause and I'll come back in a bit. Right, folks, well, I've just done a little bit more, but I forgot to film it. But what I've done is I've brought some YellowOchre. Yeah, YellowOchre I've added to my palette, and I'm just adding some of that into the lighter parts now of the design of the tortoise. Now it'd be interesting to hear whether you call it a tortoise or tortoise. quite pleased with how it's coming on. I'm going to add a bit of pure yellow ochre now, because that was added with a bit of white in the mix. Just remember that with acrylics it dries lighter. Right, so now we can add some of the darker colour back into it. Kind of blend it a little. Next door, folks, nothing to do with me. Lady, shut up! Let's just see where we are. I think we're getting there, folks. It's not got that far to go now. We need to have a check on the top part. Oh, I think that's not looking too bad. I think we've got to just touch this up because it's a little bit on the dark side, so we're just going to tone that down a little. Maybe just a bit on the brown. Just tone it a little bit down. And that's it, folks. So let's move this out of the way so I don't knock it, and let's see if we can yeah, that's how it's looking. Still wet, so I can't handle it. So that'll dry. I'm going to leave that to dry. I might need to touch it up once it's dry, but that should age quite nicely. I think it looks better than just concrete, don't you? It could do with maybe the eyes just emphasising, but we'll do that another time. So that's it, folks. Thanks for watching.